Hello, everyone. Good evening. Thank you for joining in on a Sunday. Let's just wait for 2 more minutes and see if there are more people joining as we get started. Okay, so I guess we have a few of you here, and I think I've already interacted to a lot of you. So I'm hoping that this will be a really interactive session. You can always feel free to unmute yourself, switch on your videos, talk to me. I have multiple activities planned, and I'm hoping you guys have fun. So I will go ahead and share my screen. Let me know if you can see it. Yes, could you let me know? Yeah, I see a thumbs up. So I'm hoping, can you see the slideshow version? Yes. Okay. You can always unmute and talk, guys. So let's start with my presentation. Okay. So, hello, everybody. Again, I am Purnima Krishnan. I'm one of your 4 mentors from this year of JSPF. So I have named this mentorship session on resilience and growth mindset as experimenting. And moving forward, I will definitely explain as to why I call this experimenting. But first of all, I'll start with a little bit about myself. Um, my name is Purnima Krishnan. I have added my email ID here. You can always feel free to reach out to me with 8 days left to your final application. You can reach out to any of us, the mentors, or whoever you want to connect with, and ask for feedback, ask for mock interviews, anything that you want. We're right here to help you. So I am a mentor for the Jitesha scholarship this year, and I was not a JSPF applicant in my first year. So why I wanted to mention that is a few of you still think that I had applied in my first year, but no. To be honest, I was kind of intimidated. I was not sure if I'll be able to pull it off and do the project and everything. But kudos to all of you for having chosen to do this and went ahead, and you guys are going to submit your final application. You decided to work on these things in your first year with so many other things, with 3-month semesters. um, Cheers to all of you, and great job, first of all. About me, getting back to it, I was a Cargill Global Scholar from 2019. It is a scholarship that you'll be able to apply for in your second year. And I was one of the co-founders of WINIT, which is the Women's Inclusivity Network in NIT Trichy. I'm hoping a lot of you are already part of it, or somehow support it, or have attended multiple sessions that they have conducted. Also, I'm from Tripoli, and I was part of Currents, so I've tagged that as well. Now, since I've been talking, I want all of you guys to interact with me quickly on this small game that I have planned, but I will require you to probably unmute yourself and start talking. So, yeah. Okay. So the game here is, it's the basic flip the tile game that you have already seen. Can I have a few of you switch on your videos or unmute and say if you're seeing this, if you want to participate, what's going on? Most of you have already spoken to me, so you don't have to worry about that. Guys. Okay. Any of you?
Yes, ma'am. We can see the screen.
Yeah, we can see the slide.
Great. Now let's play the game. So behind these tiles, we have some pictures that you guys will, all of you are familiar with, definitely. And I want, like, because I guess we have 7 of you here. Great. So probably 6 of you can participate here. I just want you to pick 2 tiles. Okay, more than 6 of you can participate. I want you to pick 2 tiles, and you need to have the same matching picture behind it, right? So in case you get it wrong, I just want you to say the first thing that comes to your mind, or something that um,
Sorry, looks like Purnima is having some internet issues. She'll be back in a minute.
Okay. I'm sorry, I think I had a network glitch there. I'll reshare my screen. Okay. Okay. So as I was saying, can one of you volunteer to choose the first two tiles? Any of you guys? All of you are going to talk anyway. So
Ma'am, I'll go for it.
okay. Could you just say your name as well?
I'm Gayatri.
Yes. Okay. Hi, Gayatri. Could
So,
you choose two tiles?
yeah, I'll choose 6
6. Okay.
and 12.
And 12. Okay. Okay. They're not the same tiles, but all of you can remember what is there behind it. Can you just share something that you remember when you see these two pictures?
I remember the second picture reminds me of the shopping complex
Okay.
at campus, and I'm not too sure of the first picture.
Okay. Okay. Let's move on. Anybody else who wants to go choose the next two pictures? Any of you guys?
Ma'am, am I audible?
Okay, I can't hear you if you're trying to talk. Okay, let's just go by with everyone talking because all of you are right here and I can see your names. So I'm just going to call out. Are you here, Harshavardhan?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah.
Yes. Can you choose two numbers?
I'll go with 8 and 3.
8 and
3.
3.
Yeah.
Okay. So
The first picture, the third picture is octagon.
yes. Okay.
And I guess the eighth picture is I guess it's the central I guess it's the central library behind.
But now, do you know anything that matches? Do you know where the other part of this picture is?
I don't have an idea. I have no idea.
Okay, it was taken in the last guess. I will just open it for you. Yes. Does any of you know what part of the campus this is? Anybody? Okay, where do your classes happen? Offline classes?
Orion.
Oh, they happen in Orion. Okay. So that is why you don't relate to this. This is the LHC. This is the inside of the lecture hall complex. And we used to have our first year classes happen there. Anywho, next, anybody wants to go or shall I call you out?
I'd like to try.
Okay.
I'd like to try.
Yeah.
I'll choose 4 and 7.
4 and 7.
The 7th one is stone bench, and the 4th one 2K. It's the shops near 2K.
Yes, it's a shopping complex. And do you have any anecdote to share about either of them?
Okay, I did share about them.
What?
What should I do?
Anything. You can say anything that came to your mind when you saw these pictures. You are in campus,
Okay.
right?
Okay. When I saw it, the Jew shop came to my mind.
Okay. Do you visit that frequently?
Yeah, frequently. Yeah. I love their product.
Okay, that's great. Um, okay, next person. Who wants to go?
Ma'am, shall I go next?
Yes, definitely.
I'll go with 3 and 11.
3 and 11.
Yes.
Okay, good job. So, do you know what that represents?
I think it's the Octa building. I just heard it from someone.
Do you go there? Have you been there?
Yes, I've been outside, not inside though. Not
Oh,
yet.
you haven't used the Okta yet. Okay, is it open?
Yes.
Can you?
I think it is open, but so it's not of any use yet for me, I think. So I've never been there.
Okay, cool. No issues. Next, somebody. Oh, so I didn't register your name.
No, I'm Shriya.
Priya. Okay. Guys, anybody else wants to go? Okay, just one of you, one more person can go and then we can start the game.
And 2 and 5.
2 and 5. Okay. Do you recognize any of this?
Ma'am, second one is convent, and this is, I think, a poster. I don't remember. Poster.
It's basically all of your clubs and everything that you're probably a part of or want to be a part of. I will open the rest for you. Anyway, do we recognize 9 and 10? Guys, do we recognize 9 and 10? Do we not?
NSO ground, man.
NSO. Yes. Okay, so I will move on from this small game and I will go ahead and tell you why I named this entire presentation as experimenting. So I believe that in these 4 years of BTech life, you can experiment and explore as much as you want in both personal life and academic and career oriented life. You have so many things that you can explore in these 4 years. I can say from I graduated last year, so and I haven't started working from office because I've still for the past 1 year I've been working online, and I can see how I'm still connected to the college and how much the 4 years has changed me. So when I say experimenting, I talk about all the different things academically that you can do. I'm from the EEE department, and I will talk about I give you a small timeline of the internships that I had done and where I'm working right now. So in my second year, I got an internship at IIT Delhi through SRFP, which is the Summer Research Fellowship Program. Again, I was not somebody who was very keen and clear about what I wanted to do, so I experimented. I went ahead and looked out for all the opportunities that are available, applied for SRFP, emailed multiple professors on the go as well. But I was lucky enough to get this, and it happened to be a really good internship on power electronics. That is a part of EEE that we do. And then there is, in my third year, I interned at Reliance Industries Limited, which was, again, I got it through the campus interview, and it was a completely electrical based internship. And then when I came up to my placements during that time, I had already started working on multiple other projects for my CA minor, which was a computer applications minor. So I was having bits and pieces of data analytics, and then my final year project. All of these were happening, and that is when I explored and understood the fact that I probably am not well versed in electronics, but I might be liking it more than electrical. So that is when I tried and applied for electronic based companies. And now I'm an ASIC digital design engineer at Synopsys. That is where I got my job from campus placements. So that was about my academic life in NIT. About my hobbies, I was part of Ignite. I am hoping a few of you are part of Ignite already, and I was part of the volleyball team. I'm not sure if sports inductions have started, but I would like to hear from you guys after this if you're part of things already and stuff like that. And I'm also interested in karate. I learned that from Budolin class, which I do at home. It's not related to college. But yeah, these are my hobbies. Can I hear from a few of you if you're part of clubs already? What are your hobbies? Are you part of sports teams? What's happening in college?
I am already a part of Ignite.
Oh,
Right
okay. What do you teach?
Mathematics. I'm an on-foot mentor, like online mentor. I prepare question papers and so.
You do the exams and tests.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, great. That is good. So are you really interested in teaching too?
Yeah, I'm interested in teaching. The language is a bit of a problem.
Language barrier. That's okay. That's okay. I mean, the kind of experience that you'll get from Ignite, it'll go a long way. You will continue to be in the field. You will know people whom to contact and stuff like that. Anybody from sports teams? Is that happening? Or have you seen anybody play?
The inductions have not begun yet, I think. So.
Okay, but do you play?
Yes, I do play. I
Okay.
play badminton and table.
You play badminton. Okay, that's great. Once I think your seniors are back, you'll start having inductions and you'll be part of teams. It will be a great journey. Also on this point, I like to give a tiny piece of advice that I know a lot of you, I know your first year has been really cramped up, and then now just when you're back, it's going to be a lot of, clubs and a lot of things at a time. But just relax, because if somebody says that they're part of 100 clubs and they're doing so and so and so many things, you don't have to worry. It need not necessarily mean that they are going to be wonderful at all things, or you need not be intimidated by it. They like doing it, they're doing it. And also, if you are freaking out about club inductions and all the deadlines that come, again, relax. You have all the time. You can always try and get into clubs. If you're really interested, that is what will matter at the end of the day. Okay, so moving on, we will start with the major parts of the presentation. So JSPF looks for 4 core values, as we all know, as we've all heard and learned in these past few months of application process. Curiosity to explore, discipline to persevere, will to make a difference, and growth mindset, right? Okay, so discipline to persevere. That was something that Chendu took up in his last mentorship session. I'm hoping all of you attended that. It was about projects and contests and how to build habits. That is something that discipline to persevere means. Will to make a difference. I'm sure that all of you are people who want to make a difference. You would have, written about multiple issues in your community, in your society, and how you want to work on them. That definitely shows how you have a will to make a difference. Growth mindset and curiosity to explore. Those are some things that I'm going to talk about today. Curiosity to explore is basically what I just spoke about until all this time. You need to be ready to experiment, and you need to have that inner thing always asking you to, check out for new things. And growth mindset, that is something I will explain in the further slides. You don't have to be, if you're not sure about what it means at the moment, it's completely fine. Okay, so the agenda for the day, I'm going to go in this particular order. First, I'm going to talk about resilience and growth mindset. Again, don't worry about the terminology. I will definitely explain. Then I'm going to talk about personality preference, and then a few tips and tricks on how to crack interviews, because the next stage is definitely going to be interview for JSPF. And of course, you're going to face them multiple times in your 4 years. So before going into resilience and growth mindset, I have another tiny thing I want you guys to answer. So I will be releasing a poll right now. It will be seen on your screen. I just want you guys to answer it and click on an answer and submit. Yes. Can you see the poll? I will keep it open for 30 seconds. Can you all just answer? Okay, one or two of you are yet to. Okay, I think that's all of them. Okay, great. Okay, so all of you have found it either as expected or better than expected. Most of you found it better than expected, and some of you have found it a very cool experience. Great. So to move on with this activity, I want you guys to talk again. I'm sorry, guys, you have to talk this time. We are going to talk about expectation versus reality. So just now we talked about how all of you felt really good about this change to campus life. So can one of you or more than one of you talk about what was this change between your online classes and offline classes? Was it as expected? Did you find any difficulties? How did you adapt? Anything, any short story, any sudden thing that you experienced? Anybody? Yeah, guys, we've spoken so much already. Just come in and say anything. Was it tough? Was it not? Was it a very normal, seamless transfer from online to offline? Was there any kind of difference? Guys,
Like the difference is that the classes. I've started to listen to classes after coming to offline. Like when in online, I never used to listen to classes. I just turn
okay.
off my mobile phone and throw it away. But in offline, it's totally different. I listen to it.
Okay, that's great. What about the change from calls and texts and meets to real-time conversations, and that too with so many people continuously? Did anybody feel that difference? Did you find it nice? Did you find it, no, I want to go back to the being in my bubble?
I personally couldn't recognize a lot of people when I saw them for the first time because I had seen them in their pictures. And then it was a very difficult process for me to relate their real personality to the pictures I had seen of them.
That is a very good point. Yes. Nice job. Again, who had spoken?
Gayatri.
Gayatri. Okay. Thanks, Gayatri, for that. And anybody who wants to talk about the difference that there was between life at home and life at hostel? I am sure that's a huge difference. So I definitely want some of you to talk about it.
At home, it was just getting up from the bed and going to my study table to attend classes. But here we have to cycle around a lot. For the first 1 week or something, it was really difficult to cycle around for a long distance from Mopal to Orion. But now I've got used to it.
That is great. But do you think it's a good exercise?
Yeah, it's definitely a good exercise. Like after sitting at home for 2 years.
Nice. Yes. Also, do you feel that you have less time now? Did you feel there's a difference in the amount of time that you get, to chill at home compared to now what you get at hostel?
No, I don't really think so. I think I'm more disciplined now. Like I'm getting up early, you know, to go to classes on time. So that used to not happen when I was at home. Like I used to get up at 9:25 and attend classes at 9:30. But now I'm getting at least like 1.5 hours before to attend the classes.
Yes, that is another good point. Okay. So what was my entire point of this activity is that this was a stark difference or a huge change that you had to go through in life right now, right? This was a difference from online to offline. So it was visible, but then we face changes or differences in our day-to-day life. There is we continuously are faced with challenges or new things that you may or may not want to adapt to understand that is my next point of how people react to change. This is not just random people, it's you and me. All of us have a particular way that we react to change. Now that one of you had mentioned how the change from college school home to college happened, like you start getting up early, you start having more discipline in your life. So when and somebody had mentioned how it was initially difficult to cycle around, and then it became a good thing, and then now you feel that it is a good thing to do or a exercise so to say. So the first stage of how people react to change is, of course, denial. You find reasons for why this particular change is not for me, why I need not get into this. You find out reasons. Let's say, for example, let's say you decided to apply for, or people started talking about applying for JSPF, or sometime you decided to, let's say, work out at home when you were at home. In all these cases, the first reaction will be denial. You'll be like, no, why should I apply for this scholarship? I mean, I don't require it. I'm fine as it is. And if you're planning to work out, you'll be like, yeah, I look fine, I look fit, I don't require this, whatever may be your physical or mental condition at that time. And then there's the stage where you let this go and you go into the next stage, which is resistance. Resistance is basically finding personal excuses to avoid this change as much as possible. Once you have let go of denial, you're ready to accept. But every morning, waking up and going to class or deciding to go to workout, it's a huge deal. You'll try to say that, no, today my legs are hurting. Today, so-and-so is happening. It's going to rain today, probably anything. Just make excuses to resist that change. I am sure that you must have faced that when you were applying for this scholarship as well. No, I won't be able to do the project. Okay, I had experienced that and I gave up, and that is not something that you're supposed to do. And I have learned today that probably I should have gone ahead with that, thing if I had thought more clearly back then. So you guys, all of you have achieved that transition, and you let go of that resistance and you transitioned into the next stage way before in this period of application time. And that was your exploration phase, where you find the minimum viable product. What is a minimum viable product? It is something that has the basic necessities for the user. It's like an early release of a product where it has just the basic necessities to test it out. So you're still in the exploration phase. You're going to try and find other options. You'll always have them open. If it's about workouts, you'll be like, should I do yoga? Should I just work out at home? Should I join a gym? There'll always be multiple options that come up, even in your process of application. You would have thought about what am I supposed to write on? Should I do something technical? Should I just, I know that technical things might give me more points, but am I interested in something else? There are so many options out there. And then finally, when you decide on all of these things, that leads to new beginnings, and you commit or you accept it completely and dedicate yourself to it. That is when you find cycling as a good, you know, exercise now. That is when you go to a gym, just take a membership and decide to go there every day, or you start your application and apply at your mid-year checkpoint, and you commit to the fact that yes, you are going to apply, and you try and finish as much as possible. And I'm sure that after your mid-year checkpoint, your thoughts and ideas would have been more streamlined. You would have worked more efficiently, because now you are sure that you're going to apply, or at least more sure than you were before the mid-year checkpoint. So that is your commitment phase, or that is when you are completely dedicated to this. So when I say that change is something that you go through on a regular basis, it need not be something very huge, like an application or something like that. I mean that I'll give a small example from today morning. I was running this entire PPT through my brother, and he asked me to add this slide, which we had right before this, something where we interact, where I ask you about if you understand change. My first reaction to it was, why do I need to change? I am talking about all of these stages, and I myself was telling him that, why do I require to change this? It looks completely fine. They will understand. I was not trying to look at it from the point of view of my audience. I was thinking, if it is understandable to me, it will be understandable to you. And then I realized that I was actually in the stage of denial. And then I was still resisting because I didn't want to change my PPT. And finally, I decided to go with it when I realized that he made sense, that I had to understand it. He was making a completely valid point. And then I, of course, changed the PPT accordingly. So these 4 stages, everybody goes through them. It could be in minutes or something that takes a while for people to go through. But it is definitely a process that most of us, actually all of us, go through at some point or the other. So to explain what resilience is in this context, it basically means when you are faced with challenges, or if you have a huge change in front of you, how do you get back, or how do you get back up from these fallbacks or setbacks or changes that you have experienced, and get back to your normal self? How do you do that? That requires something called resilience. So I had one of my scholarship sessions where I had heard about resilience, and to jot down my understanding of this entire thing, and for me to remember it more easily, I put it down into a small poem with just 3 stanzas, and I would like to share that with you, so for you to easily understand. Okay. Can you bounce back safe from the toughest setbacks you face? Because that requires resilience, natural or built out of brilliance. So as I said, getting back or bouncing back from any kind of setbacks that you face is called resilience, is what requires resilience, right? This small image that I've put here, it's just representing this huge change the entire world had to go through when it came to COVID. Nobody had seen such a pandemic before. Nobody had seen a lockdown before. And everybody had to muster courage and be resilient and get through and reach the point that we are right now. I'm not saying that it is completely over, but yes, we have actually gotten through an entire pandemic. It is a huge thing to think about, right? And it need not be something, resilience is not something that you might have from birth. It need not be an innate quality. It is something that you can definitely build with learning, you can build with understanding what it is, and with time, of course. 4 steps is how far from resilience you are. Find and face your deepest fear, thank the world, and forgive your dear. So I'm going to talk in the next slide about these 4 steps that can help you cultivate resilience. Okay, just remember, find and face your deepest fear, thank the world, and forgive your dear. So your step 1 to cultivating resilience is identify your fears, your weaknesses, and identify what are you resisting, or what kind of change are you resisting. Step 2 is to face them. You need to face all these challenges, your deepest fears. Third is to forgive. Forgive yourself. When I say that, have self-compassion. Do not blame yourself for things from the past. And also your kin, that is also people around you, also your family and friends, or just people whom you think, whom you are carrying grudges about. No, don't, just move on, forgive and move on. And step 4, thank the world. Be grateful for what you have, the privileges or the blessings that you are experiencing at the moment. And that will help you to, let's say, I don't know if you guys have watched 3 Idiots, but I really would like to quote that right now. Even if it does not give you the answer to your question, it will definitely give you a way to face your issue, right? All is well. So that's what cultivating resilience is all about. And to the last stanza of that tiny poem, accept change, that's the only constant. To react is a choice at every instant. Strengthen your kin and always remember, if it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. Again, this is how resilience and growth mindset are connected to each other. When I say growth mindset, I'm talking about realizing that your intelligence, your goals, your aspirations, or your behaviors, everything is prone to change. It can change over time. It can change because of your situations, because of the people you're around, because of your realizations over time. When I say accept change, that's the only constant. We've already talked about it. You are going to face change at every point in time. And to the next 3 lines, to explain them, I'll go into the next slide, which is about growth mindset. But I would also like to mention at this point that when I say to react is a choice, and if it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger, I do not mean that you accept any change as it is. If it is something that is beyond your values or principles, you definitely don't go for that, right? If it is something that you and your core values agree to, then that is when you should go with this process of resilience, right? So what is growth mindset? When I talk about growth mindset, I'm talking about 4 major qualities. Self-awareness, which is knowing one's emotions, thoughts, behaviors very well, and also understanding what are my strengths. We do see SWOT analysis: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. I'm not sure if people, you guys have taken it, but I have heard about it back in school, where you try to sit and think to yourself as to what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, your opportunities and threats. Similarly, you understand your mindset, your attitude, your goals, etc. Self-management. What is that? Navigating and shifting one's thoughts, emotions, behaviors, etc. Now, what does that mean? At any point, when I say at any instant, to react is your choice. When I say that, I mean in any situation, how you react, or if you require to react, if that situation is worth your reaction. All of these things are something that you can decide, something that is in your control. Once you are self-aware, you are going to find a healthy way to navigate your emotions. Let's say I'm facing a challenge, and let's say go with a very normal example. Most of you must have written your end semesters or some kinds of tests in this process, and back in school as well. So once you see your paper, or you understand that you possibly don't know a few questions, and you are reaching the very end of the time, you start to panic, right? You might decide you want to quit. You might decide you don't want to go ahead with this. There could be a multitude of emotions that go through your brain. But at that time, if you are somebody who understands their emotions, these emotions can be also totally different. Some people could just think, let it go, nobody cares, what is one exam going to do to me? All of these kind of emotions can be understood and properly reacted to if you are self-aware, and if you know to manage these emotions. If you tell yourself at that time that I know that these are my emotions, I know that I am reacting this way in this situation, but this is not permanent, that this is going to change anyway, let me stay calm and do as much as possible and not let my emotions control me. At that moment, you are self-managing and you are growing. That is having a growth mindset. And then there's relationship building. To face any challenges, to be resilient, you need to strengthen your kin, which is you need to build a good community, a support network around you, with empathy. When I say with empathy, it should not be for namesake, or for you shouldn't be taking people for granted. But of course, if you make a good support system around you, that will help you go through change, that will help you embrace change as it comes, and of course it will improve the way you look at challenges, because you know that you have people to lay back on in case you fail. Then comes social awareness, which is trying to understand the emotions in the room. That is, when you are in a group of people, how do you be empathetic? How do you understand? You need not be completely taking everybody's, you could be a person who does not take everybody's feelings and everybody's thoughts into consideration while making decisions, but you can definitely be aware of them and make sure you phrase your phrase how you talk, or phrase your decisions based on the emotion that is prevalent in that group. Okay. Again, here, I will like to pause before I go into the next topic. Are there any questions that you want to ask me? Did you understand all of this that I talked about? Anything that you want to share? Anybody? You can just give me a thumbs up, or tell me if you understood everything that happened till now. Okay, I got a thumbs up. Anybody else? Can you? Yes, I have a few more thumbs ups. Okay, I'm hoping a lot of you have understood what's happening. At any point, if you feel that you did not understand any of those things that I talked about, please feel free to stop me and ask. You can unmute yourself and ask, definitely. Okay. Okay. So the next part is about beliefs. How beliefs can be strong statements that can make or break you. So there are two types of beliefs: limiting and empowering beliefs. Okay. When I will definitely give you examples that will make you understand these, but I'll give you the basic characteristics of these kinds of beliefs. So limiting beliefs are generally bounded. They are closed they are closed out with some kind of boundaries. There is no, option to get out of that belief or change it. When it comes to empowering belief, they're open-ended. They have no fixed boundaries. Okay, when I go to examples, you will clearly understand what these things mean. Limiting beliefs, they are permanent. They use words like never, always, you should, they are something that is permanent, and you think that they are life values, or that they are supposed to be followed, or things like that. And empowering beliefs, they are momentary. They are temporary decisions, and you understand that they are prone to change. And the statement makes it clear that it can change with time. It can evolve with time. Limiting beliefs, they could be more personalized. They could be, like we talked about, excuses and all of those things that lead to resistance to change. They can hold you back from changing, from any challenge that you're facing. Whereas empowering beliefs, they give you space to explore these open-ended statements. They set you free, and they let you evolve with time. Okay, so I'll go ahead and give a few examples of limiting and empowering beliefs. So this is something very, generic, and something that people used to say in the olden times. People don't have wings. They can't fly. They can never fly, right? Now you can see how this is a permanent thing. The statement is very permanent. The statement is bounded, and it does not leave any space for change. While we had our Wright brothers, who made the first working model of a plane, say that if the birds can fly, why can't I? That's just changing the narrative and making something that could be limiting into something that is empowering you, that is helping you evolve and grow, right? Another thing would be, I'm always the best in the room. Always. That is something that is going to lead you to something called a fixed mindset. It is not going to give you space to grow, right? If you think that you're going to be the best anywhere that you go, you are going to be you are going to only show things that you know. You will try to be perfect. You will try to not learn from others, right? Because that will make your persona fade, or your coolness to go down, right? That is something that is a limiting belief. And if you want to change it to an empowering belief, you can say there's so much to learn from any group. This person will not bother or will not care about if he sounds like somebody who doesn't know things, or he will only care about if he or she will only care about learning, right? They will care about growing, and helping the others grow as well around them. Now, most of these beliefs, so we come across like hundreds of beliefs every day without even knowing. People talking to you, people just throw you should do this, you shouldn't do that. These are things that you hear all the time. You come across so many beliefs in your daily life. But there are some things that you consider the truths of life. There could be some limiting beliefs that are holding you back for a very long time. These could have been because of messages that you got or that you heard as a child from your parents or from any other parental figures, like the adults around you, your guardians or your relatives, right? These things unknowingly continue to stay with you, right? They continue to make you undermine yourself in some cases, or in some cases make you overmine yourself, like I'm always the best in the room, because those are things that you might have heard in multiple different shapes or forms from your people around you as a child, and unknowingly they could have been registered in your mind. So when you say, instead of you should learn from your friend or your cousin or your sister, instead of comparing, if you try to perform better than your last time, that is somehow, that is in a way going to cultivate or improve your growth mindset. And of course, this is something that you need to recognize yourself. You need to sit with yourself, think why this is, what could be limiting you, and work on it, and let's say change that narrative, right? You just need to rephrase your sentences to make it more open-ended, to make them more empowering. The most best example about how you can easily change a sentence is, let's say your limiting beliefs are, I am not good enough. That could be because of multiple things that you've heard as a child, and they just registered, and now you comprehend them as, I am not good enough. Or, no, I can't do this, as soon as you face anything or a challenge or a question, right? Now, how do you change that? I am not good enough yet. So adding this yet is a huge change to, any sentence that you have. There's this great TED talk and an entire book that Dr. Carol Dweck, she's a psychologist, she has written about mindset. And there's a TED talk about how the power of yet, how this word yet can convert your limiting beliefs into empowering beliefs. If you get time, you can definitely go and check that out. And when you say, no, I can't, you can always change it to, yes, I can, if. So this yes, if mindset, it's one of the things that the place I work at, Synopsis, we believe at Synopsis, that yes, if mindset when you face challenges is the best way to be, to grow, to learn. When you say yes, if, it's just, yes, I can do this if so and so conditions are met, or if I have so and so resources, right? No, I cannot be a math person. I'm bad at it. I don't like it, any of that. Yes, I can improve at math if I practice, or if I have a better teaching possibility, or if I have, better resources. So that's just an easier way to explain how limiting beliefs can be changed into empowering beliefs. Now, again, it's our time to engage, and I definitely want you guys to talk right now. You can take a minute or two to think about any kind of limiting beliefs that you might be carrying, that might be consciously or subconsciously stopping you from reaching your full potential, right? You can just take, let's say, a minute to think, and I'll get back to it. You can just think about things that your parents might have told you, or it could be about, the kind of scenario you grew up in, right? And with this sudden shift to hostel and college life, you will be seeing a lot of more people with, different kinds of personalities and behaviors that can affect you in a way that you might have, let's say, you might have some beliefs from your family that doing so and so is right and doing so and so is wrong, right? A lot of families, a lot of people talk in such a way. They teach you, or based on, let's say, multiple, based on faith, based on multiple other options, they might ask you to do some things and not do some things. That might have become beliefs that you hold on to right now, and that might be making you not open your mind, or broaden your perspective about other kinds of people or other kinds of rights and wrongs that are present in this world, right? So can you guys take a moment, and I can have at least one or two of you say something that came to your brain when I spoke about all of these things, when I Did you have any limiting belief that you changed into an empowering belief, or do you have something that you want to change right now? Yes, I'll give you a minute. Can any of you answer? Guys, any of you? Just talk. Just let me know how you felt about all of these things. Anything that came to your mind. Okay, I have something on the chat. Okay. Anybody who wants to talk? Anybody? Can one of you who probably hasn't talked until now just share your views about whatever you felt? Did you understand these things that I talked about? Is it something that you want to think about later to yourself? Like, let's say in this process, even after your mid-year checkpoint, are there any of you who thought about dropping out of this process? Yeah, I'm done with it. I cannot do this anymore. Are there any of you who thought that way?
I didn't think about it that way, but I definitely like at a point I felt like the stuff I was writing was really not like organic, like the problem that I was writing about and stuff. But then I think I got to campus and that's when I really found an issue to write about. And now I feel like I'll actually like, follow through on it and finish my application. Like at a point, like when I was writing my essays, I was just writing. I wasn't actually experiencing an issue online. So I think now I feel like my chances of applying at least are a lot more on campus than before.
Okay, that's great. Thank you, Vibha, for sharing that. And again, I would like to tell you that yes, your beliefs and your behaviors, they can change based on the surrounding that you are in, the kind of people you associate with, and all of that. And that is something great. You can always think to yourself and I mean, kudos to Vibha. You have actually embraced that change and you have taken it on a positive side. Changing to college, you have realized, the positive side of it, and you've overcome something that was limiting you from reaching your full potential. Great job. And to anybody else who is, in the same, is thinking about the same thing, or, wants to quit at some point, you can definitely listen to that, or you can just ask yourself about what are these things that are limiting you? What are these things that are holding you back? Can you, in some way, if you have some or the other kind of resources, change those beliefs into positive ones, into affirmative statements, right? You just need to ask yourself that. Is there anybody else who wants to share a story, or can we move on? Anybody, if any of you have not talked until now, I would be happy to hear from you guys. Okay, I guess Okay, no issues. You have multiple other times when you can talk, you can come up with questions. To move ahead, I will just quickly go through this particular resource. You guys already have it. It's from this website that you're already, you can avail already. It talks about the difference between fixed mindset and growth mindset by the psychologist, as I mentioned, Dr. Carol Dweck. And this particular graphics that I'm going to show, I have taken it from the mindsetworks.com site. I guess you guys have already seen it or, read it, whatever. So this pictorially represents what Dr. Carol Dweck thinks is the difference between fixed mindset and growth mindset. Okay. According to people with a fixed mindset, intelligence or knowledge is something that is static. It's your IQ or something, it is innate. You cannot develop it, or it cannot be grown. Yes, you can learn new things, but you cannot go beyond a point. That is something that fixed mindset people will believe. And growth mindset people, they definitely believe that intelligence is something that can be developed over time with whatever sources, resources and helps. So these fixed mindset people, they have, they lead to a desire to look smart, and therefore, so basically, as I said, in any group, these people will try to look smarter. So when there are challenges faced, they will try to avoid them, right? Because that will be something where they show their vulnerability. That will be something that they will avoid taking any risk, because what if they fail? They cannot lose their persona, that what people see, right? But people with growth mindset, they have a desire to learn, and therefore they will always embrace challenges, right? People with fixed mindset, they will give up more easily, and people with a growth mindset, they will persist in the face of setback. What does that mean? They are more resilient. And that is exactly why I put these two topics together, because growth mindset is something that can make you resilient in the face of challenges. And if you have a growth mindset, you will be resilient. So that is, it basically is, they go hand in hand, right? And when it comes to putting in efforts, they feel, people with fixed mindset, they feel efforts are not required, they are fruitless, they're why put in efforts when I can be perfect with whatever I already have? Let's say I have to make something, I will make it based on my own knowledge, right? Then it'll be perfect. If I put in efforts and if it goes wrong, it's all going to be worse. But growth mindset people, they believe that effort is the path to mastery, that if they want to perfect themselves each and every day with no final goal of perfection, of course, they require to put in efforts. Criticism or taking constructive feedback. Fixed mindset people, they will always ignore any kind of constructive criticism, any kind of negative feedback. They will try to ignore that, because no, that's going to ask them to change, right? But growth mindset people, they're open to them, and they will, of course, embrace those feedbacks, and they will learn from them. And also that it talks about success of others. How do you handle success of others? People with fixed mindset, they will feel threatened by the success of others. And people with growth mindset, they will find lessons from them and be inspired by the success of others. Why is this important to know at this point of your application? Is that after the enormous amount of effort that you've put into this application, yes, some of you will be selected as finalists, one of you will get the scholarship, some of you might not. But this process is going to, I'm definitely sure, has helped you grow, right? If you, even if you at this moment are scared about, if you'll make it, if you know, when this process gets over, when after your application process is over, after these 8 days, try and make yourself understand that there that you should not be worrying about the result anymore, because the amount of effort that you've put in is never going to go waste. The kind of things that you have seen, the kind of things that you've experienced in your very first year of college is going to give you a head start into your next 3 years better than anybody else, or the other first year students who have not done any of these things, right? So when I say that people with fixed mindset, let's say, as it says is here, they have a deterministic view of life, and people with a growth mindset, they have a greater sense of free will. Even when I categorize these two mindsets, and when I say people in this context, I don't mean that some people have a fixed mindset and some people have a growth mindset. No, that's not like that. Everybody is on their process or on their journey of this change from fixed to growth mindset, right? Some people realize it earlier, some people realize some of their limiting beliefs later. Some of them, and there are so many beliefs that could be limiting or empowering. So at each stage, you can, something that you thought was an empowering thing today might be limiting you from reaching your potential tomorrow, right? So that requires continuous change. That requires you to be self-aware, understand your thoughts, and work on them, right? So everybody has some portion of fixed mindset and some portion of growth mindset. For some people, one of them could be larger. But when you understand the fact that yes, such a thing exists, fixed mindset and growth mindset exists, and it is there within me, you can try and explore based on however you want it to be, and try and change, of course, if you believe that that change is required, right? So that brings me to another important part of my presentation, which is about personality preference. So why do I add the word preference or choice with the word personality? Isn't personality something that is innate? Isn't that something that we don't have control on? Do we have a choice? Yes, we do. Okay. Why I'm going to deliver this part of the session is because, as I said, you have had this change from school life, from COVID life to your college life, which is you're now back at campus, right? You're going to stay and see and live with multiple different kinds of people, with people from across the country and even beyond, right? You're going to see different cultures. For people who are from outside of Tamil Nadu, this could be a great culture shock. So why I say all of these things, and why I talk about all this resilience and change and empowering beliefs, is because you need to understand that how you behave or your personality is your choice. Once you understand that, you will try and be more understanding and tolerant towards people with different kinds of personality. So moving to that part, personality types. Okay, so I'm going to give a very brief idea about what I say when I talk about personality types. I'm classifying it into 4 different questions. First one, where do we get our energy? Some people on a busy day, after a busy day, they would want to recharge by talking to people, by talking to friends, by going out, socializing. Some people would want to stay home, be calm, read a book, or watch something to re-energize themselves. It's basically how they focus their energy. Do they focus their energy within or without, right? And some kind of people, they might want to work in groups when it comes to offices, and someone will want to work independently, right? And then it comes to how do we take in information. Some people would go with their experience, right? and some people would require facts, or they will require proper stats or steps to do something. If you look at that cartoon down there, one of them is making it step by step. She's starting with step 1, step 2, etc., etc. The next one, he's already imagining the final result. He's imagining probably flying in that plane even before he has started making it. So that is two different kinds of personalities that you can see. Then how do we make decisions, right? Some people make decisions based on what pros and cons, what are the correct, facts out there. Some people will make decisions based on other people's feelings, that if I choose this, will that be right? Is this, will it do something? Will it affect somebody else in my group, in my team? Things like that. And you can be a mixture of any of these personalities, right? There is no right or wrong here. And once you try to realize, so there is this thing called MBTI type indicator test or assessment, which you can just go online and you can take these online tests, which will give you a basic idea of what personalities you fall into. It will name all of these personalities properly, and it will show you where you fall. It is not important. Humans, they're wired differently. You cannot box anybody into one thing. Everybody has you can just possibly find out the different amounts of each of these things that you might be carrying. You might have some kind of personality traits in a larger amount and some in a smaller amount, and it is your choice. And these can change with the circumstance. Even that test you take can give you different results based on the conditions that you take it in, right? And the final question, the fourth question, is what is important at this moment. How do we organize our world? Some people like to plan and take action as soon as possible. Some people like to wait, they like to explore, and then they like to react, right? When I talk about these two types, some people would finish things way before their deadline approaches, and some people work at the cost of their adrenaline rush at that last moment right near that deadline. All of these kinds of things are prevalent around you and within you. Okay, in this last picture, even if you are done, some people might just want to keep adding to it. They are never completely satisfied until that final deadline is reached. Why do I emphasize on these things right now? Is because you have 1 week to finish your application process. I'm sure some of you must have completed your process, all of your essays and stuff way long ago, and you might have gotten feedback. You might be very organized, and you might have plans and backup plans, and you might have routines. Some of you might have kept things even for now. You might have things to finish off. You might want to do touch-ups, even if you might not be satisfied with some of your essays, which might seem completed to the outside world. All of that is completely okay. Why do I talk about this? Is because, again, I'll share a tiny anecdote here. While I had applied for my one of my scholarship processes, and that is when as a part of that scholarship is when I understood about all of these personality types, and I understood what I belong to and what my other co-scholars belong to. When it came to us helping out our juniors to, with the same application process, one day, one junior came to me. She was scared, and she told me that I had already gone to one of my seniors, and she was genuinely scared if I could complete my, she asked me if I could complete my application in time. I realized what was going on there, right? This scholar that she had already gone to was somebody who finishes everything on time. She was genuinely scared about if the other person will be able to complete their application, but that does could be subconsciously intimidating this person, right? And this person who was applying is probably a person who does things in the last minute, and they subconsciously could be getting intimidated by such things. So why do I reiterate these things is because right now in the next few days you are going to be around people who are applying. You're all going to be together in hostels and classes, and you'll have to try and make sure that if you are somebody with a particular type of personality, you will have to be more tolerant and understanding and try to not intimidate the other people unknowingly, right? And if you are somebody who works, stretches their deadlines, you need to try and not get intimidated. Or it could be the other way around as well. You need not try and tell the other, intimidate the other person by saying that, how can you have already completed everything? Can't you change stuff? No, both the things you should understand that are part of people and they work differently, right? So this is why I wanted to emphasize on this personality types right at this moment. With keeping the time in mind, I will go on to the next part of this final part of my presentation. If you have any doubts about these personality types, we will keep it for the last, when you can ask me all questions that you want. Okay. Yeah, if you want to share any anecdotes, I'll keep this for the after my last part of the presentation, which is about interviews. I'm going to quickly take you through some tips that you might require to, finish off or crack interviews. 5 things that I thought were important. I've jotted them down. First thing is a formal attire, how you look, right? It is very, very important because it's going to create that first impression. So from top to bottom, how you groom yourself, how your hair, how you keep your hair, to are you wearing full clothing, and to your shoes. You cannot think that, okay, nobody's going to see my shoes. No, that's not how it works. Try to be completely properly, formally dressed from top to bottom. It can always give you more confidence especially in case of offline interviews when you're going to attend in real life, right? And then the next is body language. When you come to body language, it's about fidgeting too much, about moving, shaking your legs, your hands doing things other than, talking or expressing, for which you can actually try and either keep your hands together all the time or try and use your hands while talking so that they're not, going to take other things or touching anything else. Then your speech. Try and take pauses so that you do not stutter in the middle, and try to talk as slow as possible. Don't rush, so that you give the time for your panelists to understand what you're trying to get to them. Also, you can try and pause after every 3 or 5 minutes that you talk, so that you can don't continuously talk for more than 3 minutes at least, or maximum more than 5 minutes, right? When you're talking to a panel, let them ask questions, let them interact with you. And then there's this part that you can steer your flow of your interview using your introduction, and there'll be a final question that you can ask the panelists in most of the interviews. I will get to that as soon as this part is over. I'll explain how that works. And then the final one is understanding your panel. So when I say understanding your panel, is it a technical interview? Is it a value-based interview? What kind of interview are we talking about? So whatever the panel is wanting to listen, curate your answers or create your answers based on that, right? Do not change yourself or say completely things that you don't believe in. That is not what I mean, but I'm trying to say mirror the panel. If they are interactive, informal, little chatty, have that with them. And if they are very formal, if they want technical answers, try to have that. Okay. And okay. Okay, I'll just stop sharing for a second and reshare. If you have any questions, you can feel free to ask at this moment, because I think that there is a small glitch on my side. Yeah, guys, if you want to talk or if you want to say anything, you can definitely. Yeah, I'll share again. Could you let me know when you are able to see it? Please.
Yeah, it's visible now.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So yeah, moving on, because your interviews at JSPF will be online, and probably you'll be attending a lot more online interviews in the future as well. I would like to, focus on some things that you must remember when it comes to attending an interview online or over your internet. Main thing, remember all the 5 points that I said. Do not think that they're not going to see me completely, so it's fine. Try to be completely as ready as possible that you would be for a offline interview. Probably you can omit the shoes, but as far as possible, try to be as formal and as perfectly dressed as you would be for a offline interview. Keep your background in check. That is, if you have people in your house, or if you're attending from your hostel, if you have pets around you, try to keep them away. Try to ask them and make them understand that there's something coming up, so that you have your time and space to attend it. Keep any noises away. Try to keep the place around you very clear that is going to be seen in your video. Face your camera directly. Try to look at the camera, not from top or bottom, but directly. Have something, raised platform or a monitor or something like that, where you can attend or a webcam that directly shows your face, right? Also, another important thing, even if in some interviews your panelists or your interviewers are not switching on their camera, it is a very good practice to still switch on your camera and show them that you show them your face, show them how you're talking. It is a very good measure to take, because even if you're not asked to do it, it's a good thing that if you it's a good thing to adhere to. Next is voice out any issues that you face. People understand, we have been having this pandemic for 2 years. We understand what kind of issues would be going on. You can always come out and tell if you're facing internet issues, if you're microphone issues or anything like that. Do not think that the other person is going to be going to feel the other person is somebody I'm supposed to respect, and I'm not supposed to ask them out and just listen whatsoever. No, that's not how it works. You can definitely voice out your issues. And if you face logistic issues, like what just happened twice during this meeting, my PPT stopped, I had a glitch, I got out of Zoom. All of these things can happen, right? If like in just a while ago, when I was having a run through, last minute run through, my PPT wasn't opening, I started panicking. Those things are normal, but you need to try and tell yourself that anybody who is going to interview you is going to understand that. So you need to understand that such stuff happens, relax and retry. Get out of your meeting, join in again, or just inform them over call what is happening. Try to sit calm and think of the next steps to be taken, right? And my last part is about how you can make a catchy introduction. I'll just take 2 more minutes. So basically, you can make the intro based on the type of interview that you're going to attend. If it's a technical interview or a value-based or personality-based interview, right? In your introduction, you can have, how did you get here? That, what are the milestones that you crossed to reach where you are right now, right? Where you talk about, let's say, where you give your basic introduction, where you're from, everything like that. And you can always add a personal touch, right? If let's say, if I say I belong from so and so place, but I have traveled and I have lived in multiple states, and that makes me easily adaptable to change. That is something I'll add about myself that they might remember later as well, right? That is something I'm adding a skill, or something that I want them to know about myself as part of my introduction. And then you can talk about what you plan to achieve, that where you what are you going to work on, or what are the things that you're working on right now. If it's a technical interview, you can give your technical interests. If it's a something based on your personality, you can talk about your goals you want to achieve in your life, or things like that. And then you can state your talents and achievements. Do not think that it is boasting. You're just letting them know what person you are and where you come from, right? You can definitely talk about your hobbies or things like that. If it's an interview of that sort, you can, even if that's not required. If I say that I'm part of a volleyball team, anybody is going to understand that I'm going to be a team player, that I'm going to work harmoniously with any kind of team that I'm given, right? That is something that will help you. And if it's a personality based interview, definitely try to add supporting anecdotes. Why did I ask you to come up with stories all of this time in my first part of the PPT? It was because I'm sure a few of you shared your stories. I'm sure a few of you will think about them. But adding supporting anecdotes, or to emphasize whatever you are saying, will definitely go a long way in making the panel understand what you are as a person, right? If you say that you are a good leader and you add a tiny story where anything, the smallest of the thing where you took up initiative, then that will go a long way in making them understand that, yes, she's not bluffing, or here they're not bluffing. They're going to, actually, they're talking out of experience. And if it's, again, a personality based interview, try and leave your mark on the panel. Even if it's a technical based interview, try to say something or add some fun fact about yourself somewhere in your interview that will make them remember you even after the entire session, even after the entire interview with all of the applicants is over, right? Once they see your picture, they must be able to say that, okay, this is the person who said that, right? That is some kind of mark that you leave with them. And finally, I like to just brush upon the interviews that you'll be attending, all the finalists will be attending after once your application gets over. There'll be 2 interviews as part of GSPF on a span of 2 days, but of course you probably need to be ready to attend 2 interviews on the same day as well. And there'll be an application based interview which will be 40 minutes long, where you'll be asked about your application, your let's say, about your community essay, about your projects, how did you work on it, all of those kind of things. And there'll be a value-based interview, which will be for 20 minutes, which will look out for if you have those core values that we had talked about, right? If you can portray them or things like that, that'll be about your value-based interview. And I will add this link. This is a mentorship session from last year by Shreya. She was one of the mentors from last year's cycle, and it is a very good session again about, and it focuses a lot on interviews and how you can crack them very well and give the best of yourself. So I would recommend that you watch this once before you prepare for your interviews. So I'll just add that on the chat once this is over. And yeah, thank you guys. Thanks a lot for listening. so patiently and also sharing so many things. I'm very happy that you came out and told all those stories to me. If you have any questions, I am happy to answer. And I think we are 7 minutes past the time. If you guys have any questions, you can definitely ask me right now, or we just have the application clinic that's going to follow anyway. So anybody has any questions, I'll stop sharing for now. Yeah. I would like to say again that I'll share my email ID also on the chat if you guys want to, connect with me again, or any of the other mentors. Just feel free to use all the resources that you have in these last 7 days, and make the best out of your application that is possible. Yeah, that's it from my side, guys. If any of you want to talk, if any of you have any thoughts, just can you give me a thumbs up if you understood everything that happened today? Okay, thank you so much. I'm happy. If you guys have anything to ask, you can definitely ask. I'm here. And
thanks so much, Purnima. This was a fantastic session. And yeah, definitely everything that you said about growth mindset and the 4 values that we look for is something that, we encourage all the applicants to keep in mind as you are writing your essays, as well as preparing for interviews. Because that is what is our definition of a promising freshman. So that is what we are looking for. Everything that you're writing is going to be evidence for that. So thank you so much, Purnima, for that. If you would like, and you have some time, you're welcome to stay back for the application clinic. As students have, want to reach out to you or anything, as well as, please feel free to put in your contact details on the chat as well. All right. Thank you so much.